Mad Dog Madden, the 2005 champion Texas Longhorn strength and conditioning coach, once said, "Down the road in a gym far away, a young man was heard to say, 'No matter what I do, my legs won't grow.' He tried leg extensions, leg curls, and leg presses too. Trying to cheat these sissy workouts he'd do. From the corner of the gym where the big guys train, through a cloud of chalk in the midst of pain, where the big iron rides high and threatens lives where the noise is made with big 45s, a deep voice bellowed as he wrapped his knees, a very big man with legs like trees. Laughing as he snatched another plate from the stack, chalked his hands and monstrous back, said, 'Boys, stop lying, don't say you've forgotten. The trouble with you is you ain't been squatting.'" I'm a personal trainer certified by the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and I have a deep connection to the controversy behind the deep squat. Hence the shirt, I believe that the deeper the better. With proper execution and progression, one can see many strength gains and health benefits when performing a deep squat. The problem lies within the individual, not the exercise itself. One must perform a deep squat to reap the full benefits. However, one must work their way up to being able to perform a deep squat, especially when considering adding weight. While we know many people look towards the squat in fear, there is really no need to. The squat can improve your performance while helping to prevent and rehabilitate injuries. As a trainer, I've been educated on a lot of topics like this, and it's necessary for blood to flow to areas where there's any sort of limited range of motion, pain, or discomfort. Blood flow is necessary for our joints to heal, and also our ligaments, muscles, and bones. So the best thing we can do is prevent these types of issues by conditioning our muscles, ligaments, tendons, and bones. Our bodies are built to respond to the demands placed on it. There's Wolff's Law, which explains our bones' ability to rebuild and restructure itself. So that way, when you add extra weight or you start increasing your range of motion, your body can adapt to that and is able to withstand that force. Also, Davis's law, it discusses the ability of the muscle to change its length-tension relationship depending on the demands placed on it. So it shortens with the extra loads and it lengthens with a stretching or eccentric movement. The belief that squatting past parallel will cause you more damage than good is a misinterpretation of the body's response and mechanisms to the demands it's placed under. Squatting to 90 degrees or past parallel delivers results in the most beneficial way, and the only thing unsafe about this or any exercise is improper form and placing your body under conditions it is not yet ready for. Squatting deep is harmless, safer, and extremely beneficial when executed properly. So, how many of you have ever been told not to squat too deep? There are many reasons to squat deep, some of which include that squats prevent and aid in the recovery of an injury. Research studies have proven that there is no added harm or danger in performing the squat past 90 degrees. Squatting deeper is safer because of the force distribution and anatomical and physiological adaptations occurring in the body at the time of the movement. I feel it's important for you to understand the benefits and reasoning as to why squatting deep is the best way to squat. To begin with, squats are used to prevent and rehabilitate injuries. The American College of Sports Medicine notes, in athletes rehabilitating injured knees, closed-chain exercises such as the squat are currently used because in the squat, the hamstrings co-contract with the other leg muscles to increase the stability of the knee, thus putting less stress on the surrounding ligaments. This closed kinetic chain movement allows a person to be stable in one place for the whole duration of the exercise. Because the squat provides stability, those who lack the complete ability to perform exercises which require a lot of movement can assume a safe position and squat, focusing on their muscles contracting and healing. The ligament referred to is literally right in the middle of the knee. So if you can imagine what connects your thigh bone to your leg bone and what's holding your knee joint together, that's the ACL. The squat allows the athlete, or anyone rehabilitating, to train the muscles surrounding this ligament and all of the ligaments of the knee. The muscles surrounding the joint need to be made stronger in order to prevent future injuries and help to heal this one. Not only will the blood flow be beneficial, but one will be able to build the strength of the muscles surrounding it to absorb and reduce the force of the loads on the body in the future. So I was going to show you a video of someone we know who's sitting here who's underwent ACL surgery, but the video is no longer working, so I'm going to have him stand up, and he's just going to squat real quick for us to show us that Even after an ACL surgery, you're still able to perform a deep squat all the way down. I'm sorry to do this to you, Robbie. Thank you. It's perfect all the way down and all the way back up, and he's able to push 408 or 407 pounds as his max. So it just goes to show that performing the squat and conditioning your body can really help to not only increase strength, but rehabilitate those injuries. Thanks, Robbie, for doing that. Ultimately, what is happening is the muscle is being trained to be strong enough to handle loads, contract when they're on the body, and reduce the force by shortening the muscle and carrying the weight so the supporting ligaments and joints don't have to, recalling Wilson-Davis's law. Of course, it is always important to remember that the technique of the squat is key and should be learned with supervision and progression to prepare and strengthen the body. Continued by the United States National Library of Public Medicine on PublicMed, they say the deep squat presents an effective training exercise for protection against injuries and strengthening of the lower extremity. The squat is proven to help in preventing and repairing injuries. It is a movement used to gain strength and stability in the surrounding muscles and provide these strengthenings as protection to the joints and ligaments surrounding the knee. In addition to injury prevention and healing, the squat is a compound movement which engages multiple muscles at one time and has been shown to be safer and more effective when performed at 90 degrees or lower. There are many people who would advise against deep flexion during a squat in order to reduce the amount of force on the knee joints. However, it's important to consider the wrapping effect, body adaptations, and contact between the hamstring and calf that can occur or will occur during the movement. Further explained by the United States National Library of Medicine on PublicMed, and their research in discovering if the half squat or quarter squat is safer than the deep squat, they report concerns about degenerative changes in the tendinofemoral complex and the apparent higher risk for chondromalacia, osteoarthritis, and osteochondritis in deep squats are unfounded. With the same load configuration as in the deep squat, half and quarter squat training with comparatively supramaximal loads will favor degenerative changes in the knee joints and spinal joints in the long term. Basically, this means that the research found the half and quarter squats to be more dangerous than the fuller squats or the fuller flexion squats. So in my experience and studies, one can note that a muscle has to be engaged to do the work, and in this case, push the weight back up. Therefore, performing the squats to a degree less than 90 means one is only pushing the weight up through the joints, tendons, and ligaments. In other words, the performance of squats to a degree less than 90 doesn't allow the muscle to fully engage and contract. But if a person transfers the force of the load to the muscle through engaging it with mind-muscle connection, as well as an actual generation of the structure by going to 90 degrees or further, then the muscle will be responsible for taking the force off the surrounding joints. When the muscle's not engaged, then that's when there's more risk to the surrounding structures. This is why research found the lesser flexion squat to prove more dangerous than the full flexion squat. So who would agree that form is important in any exercise? Awesome! That's right! The true elimination of concern with the squat comes with proper form and technique. Given the anatomical and physiological aspects of the ligaments and force distribution, the only thing to be concerned about is one's form. The true danger in any exercise, like we all just mentioned, is within one's form, ability, and conditioning, which we previously mentioned. While some may blame the exercise itself, the only danger the squat brings us is the danger of improper execution. That is completely in our control, and the squat is harmless if and only if we can execute it properly. XRX's Kinesiology Archive reports the primary danger to the knee occurs when the tissues of the calf and thigh press together, altering the center of rotation back to the contact area, creating the dislocation effect. This means that the person is allowing their weight and any added weight to sit on their body rather than transferring the force into the muscles to hold and support the load. So basically, the knee is put in a dangerous position when the person performing the squat is relaxed or disengaged. When one allows themselves to fully sit into the motion, disengaging the muscles, then all of the force sits on the body without any support other than the joints where the force is being placed, which in this case is the knee. The reason knees can suffer from a full flexion squat is because of the failure to contract and engage the muscles to support the load. Lastly, there's a lot happening inside of our bodies during a squat that many are not aware of. Many people would still suggest that there is instability and danger behind a full flexion squat. In truth, studies have reported that no instability results from the execution of deep squats in an exercise program. And this is absolutely my favorite study ever, so just know that because I love this. One of the studies used age-matched controls, powerlifters, and weightlifters to measure the displacement of the tibia in relation to the femur. The instrument used would measure both the front of the knee and the back of the knee. During the 8-week study conducted by the ACSM, each subject implemented different squat depths, and the results showed no increase in instability in association with squat depths. Therefore, the deep squat does not have a negative impact on the knee stability. In terms of the science behind each degree of the squat, the National Academy of Sports Medicine analyzes what's going on inside of the knee and each ligament involved. The ACL, or anterior cruciate ligaments, experience a strain and pressure beginning when the knee bends 15 degrees. The largest amount of force to the front of the ligament is experienced when the knee reaches 30 degrees. However, the evidence shows that once the knee reaches a bend of 60 degrees, the force begins to diminish and actually completely dissipate. So meanwhile, the PCL, or the posterior cruciate ligaments, feel the force is at 30 degrees and then even greater at 60 degrees, but once the knee reaches 90 degrees, the force has completely diminished. So no longer are they feeling it in those ligaments. To clarify, the anterior ligaments are located on the front of the knee and the posteriors in the back. This study shows that the ligaments experience relief and a reduction in force or load on them when the knees bend more and more. So as the flexion increases, the load on the muscle increases, and the concentration of the pressure is transferred to the muscle rather than the ligaments. One can distribute the load to the muscle the deeper they squat. Without squatting deep, the ligaments will experience greater force and be the only working structures in supporting the weight and pushing it back up. Furthermore, the deep squat is proven safer, more effective, and useful in preventing and rehabilitating injuries. Through the understanding of the anatomy and physiology behind the squat, one can see that the greater the flexion, the greater the tension. This puts greater tension on the muscles and takes the stress off of the ligaments. Studies measuring the different ligaments show that the deep squat does not cause added instability within the knee. The most dangerous thing about the squat is the factor within our control, which is form. While the exercise itself is not dangerous, a person can create greater risk when executing the exercise improperly, like bouncing at the bottom through disengaging of the muscles. And the distribution of force is then in the ligaments. It's important to progress when squatting rather than denying the deep squat altogether. As demonstrated, the deep squat is not only beneficial for health and strength gains, but it is better and safer than the half and quarter squat. So always remember what Jeff Mad Dog Madden said. Boy, stop lying. Don't say you've forgotten. The trouble with you is you ain't been squatting. Thanks.
Thank you.